You're watching ABC10 Plus Tonight.
Hello everyone, I'm Chris Thomas. You're watching ABC10 Plus Tonight. Rain and snow could impact your holiday plans. And in dollars and cents, we look into phantom debt and the pitfalls of buy now, pay later plans. Then many student athletes are now getting serious cash through NIL deals. We examine the impact this has on the future of college athletics. ABC10 Plus Tonight starts right now. Let's turn back to that weather impact alert and take a live look outside now. This is eastbound Highway 50 at Echo Summit. I mean, just postcard pretty, isn't it? But you want to be careful out there because Monica is tracking even more snow, right? In the forecast.
I was thinking the same thing. It looks gorgeous, but it comes with some risks, right?
And you saw that turn.
Yeah.
You missed that turn.
I know.
Chris does not like driving on that road.
Yeah.
He says,
Take it
no,
slow.
thank you. Yeah, it's just go slow. You know,
Yeah.
There's no sense. It's slick out there, and we're going to have to deal with this for at least the next 24 hours because really the biggest impacts right now are indeed in the Sierra Valley locations. We're still getting some spotty showers. There's just not the heavy downpours like what we saw last Friday, even last Saturday. We still saw some pretty good pockets of some heavy rain. So we're going to continue with our weather impact alert through tomorrow. Now for the valley, we're going to have that cut off right about noon, but for the Sierra, we're going to have it all day long. Rain and snow being the main impacts. Again, extra travel time. We've been dealing with this for the past week or so. Kings game forecast for tonight versus the Thunder. Let's light that beam tonight. All right, we need it. Our pregame conditions will still have some showers out there, 53 degrees, and then we're just going to kind of cap those conditions with temperatures. We're not going to fall too much more. We'll be in right around the low to mid 50s through the evening forecast with periods of rain, even at halftime. By postgame, starting to see some clearing. We picked up about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of rain just since midnight. So this was a decent amount of very light precipitation moving through. About that for the foothills and for the Sierra, more mixed precipitation, both in the form of rain and snow. Highs for today, mid to upper 50s in the valley to right around the low 60s in the northern San Joaquin Valley. 51 for Jackson, low 40s for the Tahoe Basin, but already starting to see some colder conditions in the Big Mountain backyard. Right now, we're in the 50s and low 60s with periods of light rain coming and going. Tahoe, we're at 38 with a very cold rain falling. We had our own Luke Clary up there live along Highway 50, and he said it's just been really messy conditions, kind of that cold rain, and then it will turn over to snow. Bottom line there is changing snow levels will continue in this Sierra with difficult travel. Chain controls periodically on both 80 and 50, Highway 4, 120, 88, 89, all the major roadways into the Sierra impacted by this. Now, in terms of our future moisture, this particular line of atmospheric river has been poised to more so hit Southern California, and it's starting to taper off. So that big fire hose coming in from the Pacific finally starting to shut down just in time for Thanksgiving. So pretty nice looking rundown here as we look at the timeline. Valley showers come to an end tomorrow. That snow level down to 5,000 feet. Wednesday, drying and clearing, but this sets us up for morning frost. Thanksgiving morning, Friday morning, Saturday morning. Take a look at these lows coming in with the clearing skies. There's just no buffer. So we get into the 30s for several days here. If you're trying to get out for that morning run or walk, kind of get some turkey burned off there. It's going to be pretty chilly. Our future cast, you can see showers will start to come to an end tomorrow morning. They hang in for the Sierra through our Tuesday afternoon. Then everything starts to wind down actually on Wednesday, Thursday, even into our Friday forecast. Great travel weather in terms of what we're seeing throughout California. Thank goodness that weather system last week didn't hit us this week. Rainfall totals left over only about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch, mostly into tonight and early tomorrow. And then for the Sierra, we'll still pick up about 1 to 12 inches of snow. Heaviest snow still expected to be south of Highway 50 all the way along 395. So highs tomorrow in the 30s for the Sierra, 40s and 50s down low. We'll see those 50s to near 60 as we head throughout the valley. And again, we're setting ourselves up for some pretty chilly conditions in the forecast. So just be expecting to see some cold weather for the next several days here. As we head into our regional forecast, as you can see, that 3-day forecast, we're going to have the bit of our weather impact alert in play for tomorrow, but then everything dries out after that.
This is perfectly timed. Well, you know, if you have guests coming, you might want to do the indoor chores today and then some of the outdoor decorating a little, not too long from now.
I know, finally.
And then when people want to put up those holiday decorations after Thanksgiving, looking pretty nice, huh?
Yes, good timing there too.
Okay, thanks, Monica.
Tonight, in a special Dollars and Cents investigation, Thanksgiving and Black Friday are this week, and the temptation is real to spend big this holiday season. To help afford those purchases, many of you are turning to buy now, pay later loans. But are they worth the convenience? Tonight, what you need to know about phantom debt.
My budget's probably going to be about $1,000.
If I see something that I want to get for someone, I just buy it then and then give it to them.
Yeah, I have nieces and nephews. Whatever they want, they get. But the adults, nah, it's all about the kids.
I am going to spend a little bit more on my close family members than I would on my friends, just because they're priority to me.
With Black Friday just days away, the National Retail Federation predicts holiday spending will reach a record $902 per person, mostly on gifts. And research shows more people are turning to buy now, pay later plans to afford those gifts. The holiday shopping season is already filled with so much spending temptation. Experts say buy now, pay later plans can encourage shoppers to spend even more than they can afford, especially on impulse purchases. What makes buy now, pay later loans so tempting?
We are driven towards instant gratification. It allows consumers access to cash they may not have quickly.
Klarna, Afterpay, and Affirm are some of the payment options you'll see when you shop online. The companies offer what's called a buy now, pay later payment plan that's typically a no-interest way to break up an expense if you choose the for-payment option due every 2 weeks and pay on time.
Especially when you're trying to stay on a budget, it actually helps you out. Because sometimes kids need stuff right away. Sometimes I need stuff right away, and I don't have $250. So it's like, okay, if I could pay that partial payment, $75, that saves me $100 and something.
Buy now, pay later loans are growing in popularity as an alternative to traditional credit cards, which can charge late fees and more than 35% interest if you don't pay your balance in full. Compare that with Affirm, for example, that says it does not charge late fees, but some of their payment plans do charge up to 36% interest. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says the number of buy now, pay later loans increased more than 1,000% between 2019 and 2021. Debt accumulated from these kinds of loans is called phantom debt.
It's called phantom because, number one, it's not reported. And number two, because it's not reported, economists and other financial experts can't really get a handle on how much of that debt is actually out there.
And Paley says this matters because consumers might not be as protected as they would with traditional credit cards due to a current lack of regulation.
Because they don't have those protections, consumers don't have the rights that they would normally have with a credit card. For example, if they needed to fight a charge, if they needed to get something removed from their statement or their reports, they aren't going to have the type of supports and the legal precedent to be able to do that.
There are ways to protect yourself, starting with knowing the terms of your buy now, pay later agreement. Read the fine print.
When are things due? What happens if you miss a payment? Does it get reported to the credit bureaus? Do you get charged a penalty fee if you're late on a payment?
All of these things, Paley says, could impact your credit score. If you don't pay on time, depending on the company and the plan you choose, you could be charged late fees and interest.
It is kind of a little wild, wild west area. So the rules are kind of happening as we go. So I think it's important when you do enter a space like that for consumers to be cautious.
And shoppers I talked with recommend remembering what the holidays are truly about.
Don't go overboard. It's all about family more and friends and just being together and spread your love.
Do some homemade gifts and baking and give people, some cookies or something, instead of going out and spending a lot of things that we don't need.
Don't spend more than you have because you don't want to go into debt. Still have to budget, but just remember why you're buying it. It's a special gift for a special family member, and to spend time. It also brings family together.
The federal government is looking into buy now, pay later loans. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says they're concerned with unclear disclosures, how consumer protection laws come into play, a business model that encourages consumers to overextend themselves, and how lenders collect your data. You can find all my Dollars and Cents stories streaming now on ABC10 Plus. The app is free and available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. You can also email me your questions at lpainter@abc10.com. Tonight, two families are mourning the loss of their loved ones after two men were swept away in the American River.
The bodies were found Monday afternoon after a search involving the Placer County Sheriff's Office and CAL FIRE. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias has more information.
Chris and Laura, the families of the men have been notified, but the sheriff's office says it's still working on positively identifying the victims. They say it was their drone operator who discovered their bodies downriver from where the men were last seen. Just before 9 Saturday night, a man called the Placer County Sheriff's Office reporting two fishermen had been swept into the American River near Oregon Bar. Elise Soviar with the sheriff's office says altogether 3 men were fishing and it was a normal thing for the group of friends to enjoy the area.
And at one point they had crossed the river and were trying to make their way back, and somehow in that process of making it back, one was swept away, and it's believed that the other man may have gone to try to help him and was also swept away in the process.
The sheriff's office dive team, along with CAL FIRE, searched for the men, both 20 years old, throughout the weekend. Searchers located the two Monday afternoon. They say the recovery operation was very technical and in a portion of the river with rapids and strong currents. It's unknown exactly what caused the men to drown, but the American River is known to be dangerous.
So the American River, there's a lot of rocks underneath it, so there can be a lot of undertows that you can't see and a lot of hidden objects that are below the water that you may not know, and so sometimes those undertows can pull people down and get them trapped under rocks and they aren't able to free themselves.
Soviar says they don't know if that's what happened in this case, but it's a common danger in these waters. She says the outcome is a tragedy.
There are two families who are impacted by this, who have lost loved ones, and we certainly send our condolences to them. And with this being Thanksgiving week and we enter the holiday season, that can sometimes even amplify just the feelings of loss.
The Placer County Sheriff's Office says it can't tell people to stay out of the water, but they want people to take the precautions necessary, the main one being to wear a life jacket. In Placer County, Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Roxanne, thank you.
It's a golden time for athletes here in the Golden State. California became the first in the nation to allow college and high school players to profit off their name, image, and likeness, commonly known as NIL.
ABC 10's Devin Truby dives deeper into how this money is changing the game.
All-time leading scorer in women's college basketball.
From Caitlin Clark making more than $3 million to Reggie Bush suing to recoup money that he says he could have made, NIL is making headlines.
California was the first state to allow college athletes to be paid with the Fair Pay to Play Act of 2019. In 2021, the NCAA opened the floodgates for NIL. Today, the odds of being paid like a professional athlete while still in college, well, they're a little less than a Hail Mary, and they're getting better than ever before.
I think like a few years ago, it was just your top players that were making money through NIL, whether it be the quarterback or maybe it's a draftable player or the star of the team. Now every player is getting paid through NIL because it's part of the recruitment process.
Student athletes now have the right to be paid for the use of their name, photographs, autographs, and more. The dollar amounts are unknown, and there's no transparency requirement.
Because we went from athletes not affording meals to now living the life of luxury. And I've got quite a few athletes now that are making more than mom and dad combined.
Philip Red Miller has been a sports agent for 10 years, representing many big names in college football.
But I would say if you're in the SEC, you don't touch a dime the whole time. You could leave with, $400,000, at least over $250,000. Smaller schools, you could leave school with anywhere between $30,000 to $100,000 if you don't touch anything.
Here's how it works. The money the school pays players comes from what's called a collective, a company formed by wealthy alumni that essentially helps raise funds. They also help with contracts like Nike or Adidas, and even getting athletes high-end cars.
I completely agree with it being the Wild Wild West. These collectives are 501(c)s, and so if you're going to ask them to open their books, you're asking, churches to open their book. It's just not going to happen.
NCAA rules state that money is not for recruitment, but it happens anyways, turning 17 and 18-year-old athletes into big business and their moms and dads into agents.
Sometimes you'll get mom and dad that want to go in there right away and throw a number out as far as a market value on their son or daughter. And to be honest with you, that turns a lot of coaches away from that athlete, knowing it's just about the money for them and it's not about the love of the game.
Some of the top valued high school athletes in the state are playing at Folsom High School.
We've had so far this year at games in the fall, we've had USC has been here, Oregon has been here, Ole Miss has been here, UC Davis has been here, Sac State has been here. Every school in between, they come and they watch the kids play. They come and they watch the kids at spring practice. We had 100 coaches come. Orange Boise.
Head football coach Paul Doherty has players signed to USC, Notre Dame, Texas, University of Washington, and Alabama. He says his primary goal is for players to get a quality education.
You know, we're going to sign 10 kids here this year, and that's an astronomical number. I think the national average for high school is 1 every 10 years. So we're just incredibly fortunate to have a ton of caliber of players that can move on and play at the next level. And for some of them, the NIL money, it's a very real thing.
A very real possibility for junior quarterback and 5-star recruit Ryder Lyons.
He's really president. He doesn't need NIL money, you know what I mean? Like, he's going to be just fine. You know, is it going to come into play? Is it going to be a part of the conversation? Yes, it is.
At Sacramento State, University Athletic Director Mike Orr says they're advertising a quality education first, but doesn't deny NIL money is a huge factor.
And it has had an impact, certainly, on our recruitment of student athletes and retention of student athletes. And we are doing everything we can here at Sacramento State to build up a strong name, image, and likeness program that student athletes can benefit from, but we still have some work to do.
It's why the Sac-12 Council, a group of local leaders, is raising money for a competitive NIL program as the Hornets look to move to a bigger athletic conference, raising $35 of their $50 million goal in just 24 hours. The collective is now pushing for $75 million in 10 years. This more than quadruples the current NIL fund at Sac State.
Certainly will make us competitive, I would say, almost any Division I program on the western part of the country.
Recently, state senators that helped make California the first state to pay student athletes called for transparency with schools' collectives. But Governor Newsom vetoed their bill, SB 906. If approved, it would have required all deals over $5,000 to be disclosed. Colleges would have to list the team, gender identity, year, and total amount provided to athletes.
I agree with that. If I was an agent for a player out in California, if I was a parent of an athlete, I don't want anyone else knowing how much my son or daughter is making. The athletes get enough scrutiny through the media as far as game performance. And you throw them in a city where somebody else knows how much they're making, you're just opening the door for crime, ridicule, whatever you want to call it, but it's just not safe.
A warning: with fame, money, there are no guarantees. Those I spoke to say, while a school may be willing to invest in you now, it can all disappear. It's still a long shot.
As I tell athletes, you're never going to see this money again come this easily. All you have to do is you wake up, you go to school, you work out, you play on Saturdays. That's the best job in the world, if you ask me.
Devin Truby, ABC 10.
Devin, thank you. The NCAA requires student athletes to report deals worth $600 or more to their college within 30 days. The colleges must report NIL data twice a year to the NCAA.
Hi, my name is Caressa Nguyen. I'm a citizen of the Ione Band of Miwok Indians and co-founder of Sacred Lands Native Hands. I like to say that I'm the quintessential California mix because I'm Vietnamese, Filipino, and Miwok. California has one of the largest Vietnamese diasporic communities. Tagalog is the third most spoken language in California after Spanish, and I'm indigenous to California. Participating in my tribe's ceremonies and in practicing our culture, such as making pine nut beads, being on the land, going out and gathering on my family's land in Ione has grounded me in my understanding of how policy impacts the environment, of how policy impacts my community. So Sacred Lands Native Hands is a 501c3 organization that essentially seeks to help Indigenous peoples regain access to traditional territories and restore Indigenous ecological knowledge to the land. I think one of the most important things that we can do during this time is to reflect on how lands were dispossessed and how do we right those wrongs.
There is so much to talk about, and it is very real. And, you know, one thing I've learned throughout my life, if there's any wisdom I can bestow upon anybody, it's not a real ride. It's not a real exhibit. It's not worthwhile unless it dumps you out near merchandise. And they got all kinds of merchandise. They got Santa Claus. They got elves. They even have elves riding dinosaurs. Santa, I know it's a little early. Thanksgiving's not even here, but I'm a big fan of your work. Am I naughty or nice this year?
Nice.
Okay. He didn't exactly say nice quickly. He said nice. All right, I got to walk you through this because, like you said, Walt, you guys, there's a lot to look at. A VR exhibit. You will sit in one of these chairs. You will actually ride a triceratops through a jungle. It's amazing. John, we're barely scratching the surface. We got a lot to talk about. First of all, John, dinosaurs have been on the Earth, or were on the Earth for how long?
Dinosaurs were on the Earth for about 200 million years. They came in around 265 million years ago, right. 66 million years ago, an asteroid hit,
right.
Created the Gulf of Mexico, and paved the way for modern humans.
Exactly. You know, always look for the glass full, half full, because had that meteor not hit, we wouldn't be here as humans.
That's right. Dinosaurs' favorite meal was small mammals.
Zoinks! So. All right. Check this out. Kids can come, talk about interactive. They can pick their favorite dinosaur, they color it, they scan it into the color of the dinosaur thing, and then up there, boom, the kid's dinosaur will actually start walking through with their name actually on it. Your child. Great Instagrammable moment. Look, there's Mama Koya. Mama Koya colored that dinosaur, and there it is walking through this landscape. Really amazing. But what everybody's talking about are the highly realistic dinosaurs. Realistic to what extent? In scale?
So yes, in scale, we scaled them up. We worked with paleontologists to create the actual dinosaur size and used the latest...
Hold on, before we get in there, you got to check out something else. I forgot this. The aquarium. Look at this. The aquarium takes place. It's an interactive aquarium, highly realistic as well.
When we say we want to immerse you in the world of dinosaurs, we want to take you to the bottom of the prehistoric ocean, all the senses are engaged.
Amazing. Talk about senses engaged. And I think I mentioned this earlier. These dinosaurs are as loud as you would imagine dinosaurs to be. As we walk through, how many dinosaurs do we get?
You get over 50 dinosaurs in interactive environments, tons of learning opportunities, over 30,000 square feet.
Got it. And really awesome. It's going to be here through the holidays, so if you're looking for an alternative to all the other stuff, it's indoors, so rain, sleet, snow, no problem.
That's right. We're here every day. We're open every day except for Tuesday. We'll be open every day for the holidays. It's a great family entertainment opportunity.
All right, so we got elves, we've got Santa, we've got T-Rex, we've got every dinosaur you can imagine. John, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you, Mark.
It's Dinos Alive. We'll link all the information to ABC10. Back to you.
Wow,
I
50 dinosaurs.
I know, right? And the lighting really just adds to the mystique, Mark. You appreciate good lighting, don't you?
You know, I'm always about the good light, and trust me, when you got those kind of wrinkles, you really need good key light. Thanks, camera guy. Back to you.
Thanks so much for watching ABC 10 Plus tonight. Remember, we are here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Chris Thomas. We'll see you next time.
There comes a point in every rainy season when all of a sudden the storms start to level up. More wind, more rain, and more snow. This week is that week. We've got a lot of very strong systems headed your way that will impact you, what you can do and what you can't do. Of course, we will be tracking all of them this week, into the weekend, and next week, which is the week of Thanksgiving. For the latest, you can watch us on air or stream us on ABC 10 Plus.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To the Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To the Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention Bay Sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. What's super exciting, I know you care about high school sports. You'll never find a more comprehensive guide and team dedicated to high school sports. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look, it's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To the Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.